love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack 2022 Fantasy Football Team Previews. In this episode, we're going to be covering the Atlanta Falcons, and to do that with me is Mike LaPlant. And let's just jump right into it here with our quarterbacks. And the new quarterback room for the first time in a long time for Atlanta. No more Matt Ryan, no more Matty Ice. Marcus Mariota is the man. They brought in Desmond Ridder from this year's draft class. So, possibility he gets the job here, but it seems like it's Mariota's job. I don't know, man. Like, what's your thoughts on either of these guys for fantasy? And let's start with Mariota here, who, had a few decent seasons when he was with Tennessee, but, just never really got the job done there, wins and losses wise. So they moved on. Seemed to get worse as the years went on. Don't have a lot of data on him the last couple of seasons because he was a backup for David Carr. Derek Carr, right? Jesus. That's his brother. But yeah, I mean, like, what's your thoughts on Mariota as, maybe like we're looking obviously, 2 QB leagues, super flex leagues. Like, is he a flyer for, the back end of your second quarterback in those types of leagues? He is able to run, he's got that.
I think
ability.
He's probably got your best floor for those QB2, QB3 quarterbacks. I mean, we don't like talking about them, but you need them. Your team does need them if you're in a super flex league. And I think based on sheer volume, because this team is setting themselves up to be the number one pick in 2023. Yes. Their defense isn't the greatest, and it's probably going to force them to throw a lot, I would think. It's not going to be great, but like you said, Mariota also runs the ball, so it gives them some rushing floor. And then the passing volume could give him a little bit of ceiling as a QB2.
Yeah, I mean, Mariota was never one to be known to throw the ball a lot, although that was a different offense in Tennessee.
Same coach, though, Arthur Smith.
Yeah, but, his thing was, near the end was he turned the ball over. Like, his touchdown to turnover ratio wasn't good. So, like, that sort of negates his rushing ability, in my opinion. So, he's not my favorite target. But look, if you're waiting for your second quarterback down in that range, I mean, look, you're looking at guys like Baker, who might not have a job, Sam Darnold, right? Take your chances with Kenny Pickett, right? I mean, that's what you're looking at that point. Maybe a Carson Wentz a few picks before that. Whatever, man. Like, fine, I'll take Mariota because he can run a little bit. That's fine, I guess. But
he's probably going to have
I'm not loving it, though.
This year. I mean, Arthur Smith is not on the hot seat like someone like Matt Rule in Carolina, where they got to kind of rush that QB in early. They're probably just going to sit Desmond Ridder until they think it's necessary for him to play.
And they should. I don't think Ridder's ready. I think he's kind of raw. I think he had a good team around him and a good system there. So
if you're looking for just this year value, I think Mariota can provide some.
Yeah. All right, moving over here to the running back room, we got Cordarrelle Patterson, overall 85, running back 36. I guess he's still a receiver in some league somewhere, I'm sure. But they also brought in Damien Williams. And, that's pretty much it. Those are the other guys that are probably going to get used. Patterson was amazing last year for the first 10-ish weeks.
Yeah.
Sort of fell flat on his face after that. Didn't really do a whole lot past. I'm pulling up his game log here. Yeah, it was like week 11. Yeah, week 9, he had a good week. Then week 10 was kind of rough, and then they had a bye week, and then he came back strong for that week 12, and then it was sort of mediocre after that. But I mean, this dude was literally free for people in drafts last year. Like, he was not getting drafted anywhere. if you took a chance on him after week 1 when he started seeing a lot more work than I think any of us expected, he paid dividends in week 2, scoring, 2 total touchdowns. And that's the thing. He was like their entire offense last year. He saw so many targets in the receiving game. He got double-digit carries. Do you see him having that same role this year? And if he does, why is he not ranked higher?
I think it's based on how bad this offense outlook is. Because, in my opinion, what gave Cordarrelle Patterson most of his value, obviously, it was the PPR. He got a quarter of his targets, his 52 targets, 14 of them came in the red zone. Like, that's where Patterson made his money last year.
But he might do it again? I mean, we're going to get to this receiver room next, but he might do it again. I mean,
he got 11 touchdowns last year. I mean, I just don't like that was with Matt Ryan. If
I get it,
if we don't project, I mean, Mariota be QB1 worthy. Usually, you're getting a QB1 to produce possibly 2, relevant wide receivers. QB2, if you're lucky, you're going to get 1. All right. And if we're going to consider him kind of that wide receiver running back hybrid, I just don't know. I think it's the scoring that's there, but yes, he's going to get volume. But my biggest thing is what really killed him last year. It wasn't the touchdowns. Obviously, he stopped scoring. It was his ability to not handle that full workload.
Yeah, he started breaking down near the end. I will admit that. But, maybe now he'll come in prepared for a role like that, possibly. I mean, I guess that's my only thought. And that's where I'm just going, like, maybe he's a little undervalued at RB36 for the rankings.
A little undervalued, I won't lie. But dude's 31, and we don't even expect, workloads like this to withstand a full season for, let's say, I can't even think of an old running back right now, but an older running back like, let's say, a Frank Gore, even when he was 31.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
He's like 41 now, dude.
You're right, but when he was 31, he wasn't even getting the work.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think like Adrian Peterson back in his day, like then. But I mean, so to kind of play devil's advocate with that, right? And I'll admit, like, I don't have a good ranking for Patterson because I think this offense is going to be way worse, and so I think that's what really plays into it. And you mentioned that too, right? So that's why my ranking of him is bad. But I'm kind of just saying maybe I'm overvaluing how bad an offense this is going to be, and maybe Patterson getting 20-ish touches a game between receiving and running is going to put him way over RB36. But you mentioned the workload, right? Look, he's 31. That's old for a running back, right? But he hasn't played. He hasn't been running back in his career, and he has barely ever seen a full workload of a season, even receiving. So I think he's not, he's never been running. He's not a broken down 31. He's been a receiver his whole career. So maybe there's a little something too. I mean, his most rushes in a year before this was in 2020 with Chicago, where he saw 64. And I think Atlanta finally saw that, and they were like, there's something to this. Dude runs hard, and he's a big guy. Not gonna lie. I mean, 6'2", 238, man. He's a big dude. He's hard to bring down.
Absolutely. I just feel like the consistency from, what was it, week 1 to 10 for him, I feel like it'll be a little shorter this year. And I feel like he's going to be exactly what we saw last year at that, week 10. Everyone wanted to trade him at his height. I think that's what he'll be. Exactly.
I didn't get anything good back, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But all right, let's move over here to receivers. And another new receiving room. Obviously, Calvin Ridley suspended. We don't even know if he's going to ever return to this team. They got, let Gage go. Drake London is the new toy rookie.
The new hotness.
Brian Edwards came over from Las Vegas. They got Zacchaeus. They got Auden Tate, Damian Bird. Just a bunch of dudes, honestly, man. Like, look, with Mariota there, I think this one could be kind of short. Like, with Mariota there, like, do you see Drake London even being wide receiver 33?
I see his ceiling being wide receiver 33. And when it comes to drafting players at their ceiling, I'm not a big fan. I think he's got a floor of a high ceiling wide receiver 4 or a low floor wide receiver 3. But that's, like I said, his ceiling right there is 33. Mainly based on the ability to score. Thing with me, ceiling comes with touchdowns. Touchdowns comes with ceiling. And if this offense isn't going to score a lot, which Drake London, that's what he made his living in college. He was the big-bodied receiver, the red zone threat. And if they're not in the red zone, he's not going to be doing as well as we all hoped he would.
Yeah.
But the volume will sustain him to be at least relevant.
Yeah,
He's more of a fantasy dynasty, gem.
Absolutely. I've been saying this for a few years. I'm probably not going to have very many rookies on my squad this season. Obviously not dynasty. Can't avoid that clearly. But in as far as redraft, I'm probably not going to have it. However, Drake London does interest me. There's literally nobody else to throw the ball to on this team except for Patterson and Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
I mean, they got to throw the ball to somebody, and it's probably going to be
Brandon Cooks argument,
right? And so you look at Tennessee, right? When Mariota was the quarterback back in 2016, and they had that good season. I mean, Rashard Matthews wasn't terrible, right? Tajay Sharp was a decent, like low end, sometimes could fill in as like a flex receiver.
Yep.
Rashard Matthews was at least a wide receiver 3, and I think London can easily fall into that. And with Mariota, I think he's actually, like, you saw him come in Vegas a few times, and he looked okay. I think he can make London,
wide receiver 3 again.
Wide receiver 3, potentially. I don't think we're going to be talking about wide receiver 2, but I think he could fall into that mid wide receiver 3 range. So
I'm more excited for his future quarterback.
Yeah, me too. But speaking of tight ends here, we do have the all-talented Kyle Pitts, overall 45, tight end 3. Touchdowns bit him last year, right? I mean, he is amazing, but just no touchdowns, man. Like, could not get in the end zone last year. Outside of a couple weeks, right? It was just like, man, actually 1 week. Other than that, man, the dude looked good. But again, that was Matt Ryan. So what is your take on him with Mariota and or Desmond Ridder?
Yeah, I mean, my take, I really hope Arthur Smith, learns a little bit from Andy Reid over there in Kansas City, and they feature him as the Travis Kelce of this offense, because the guy has the talent to be it. He just needs the opportunity now.
Yeah.
Obviously, touchdowns are the only thing that bit him in the butt, but that volume is just.
He's tight end 6 with 1 touchdown.
I know.
That's insane.
It is. That's like George Kittle. That's George Kittle numbers with the amount of yards and what's it called? Yak has. But that's going to be the thing. His ceiling's going to be limited again with Mariota. But if you can get him, as your I don't like it. It's too rich for me as tight end 3. If you can get his 4 or 5, maybe I can sell you on that.
I don't hate the ranking. I don't like taking him at 45.
Yeah, he's just going to be overdrafted.
I'm probably just not going to do it. But all right, man, that's all we got for the Atlanta Falcons. Well, thank you for tuning in and watching. Hit that subscribe and like button. Leave those comments. We appreciate it. And make sure you check out some of the rest of our team previews and podcasts here on the YouTube Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel. See ya.